My name is Francesco, and in this video I'm gonna take you from being lost and confused to starting to get to know who you are and what direction you can take in life to be successful. I know this because I've been exactly in that spot. I was lost, I was confused, I was stuck in a university that I didn't like and in a life that I just pretty much hated. And now I live a life in which I teach what I love, I run 2 businesses with my best friend Leo, and most importantly, I'm free. I can work from where I want, whenever I want, I can handle my life exactly how I want. Your time is precious, so be concise. But before we start, what I want you to do is to grab a pen and paper. You'll need to apply the things that I tell you. And that is, if you want to change your life and if you want to start seeing different results and not being stuck. That being said, let's get started. The first step is to define your past successes. But it's very important to define what a success is. You see, society has a very weird way of labeling failures and successes. For society and for most people, a success is when you try to achieve something and you do, and a failure is when you try to achieve something and you don't. But I disagree completely. To me, a failure can be defined in a couple of ways. The first way is when you want to do something that is important for you and you don't do it. The second way is when you want to do something but you're afraid, so you take the first step, you try, and then you quit. Especially when you tell yourself, I've done everything that I could and it just wasn't meant for me. Because what you're doing in that situation, you're just playing the victim. You're saying that your circumstances or whatever it was bigger than you and that you didn't have any agency over your life and that it's not your fault. And I can tell you that we can exclude like 1 or 2% of situations in which like it's actually very hard. But in most cases, and we can probably agree that it applies to you, life isn't so hard that it's impossible for you to try to achieve those things. And if you think that is, you can just quit the video and go watch something else because this video is not for you. I also think there's another kind of failure, which is probably the worst. And that is when you achieve something that wasn't meant for you. When you get that job that you never liked. When you get into that relationship that you never really cared about. You never cared about that person that much. But you are in that relationship because you're afraid. You're in that job because of the safety. Maybe being judged or whatever else. That you just basically decide that you'd rather stick with a life that is not yours and that you never wanted in the first place. On the other hand, there's success. Success, I also define in a couple of manners. The first one, which is the most beautiful, is when you achieve something that you actually cared about. For me, for example, my biggest success was quitting university, going into a path that was completely unknown for me at the time, was being a music producer, achieving big successes in that field by being like a multi-platinum producer and mixing engineer. And then another success was discovering that what I loved the most was business. And so building a business around music production and now building a business where I'm helping people creating the life that they want together with my best friend Leo, which is like also another big success to share something so beautiful with the person that is one of the most important people in my life. The second kind of success is giving everything you have towards the realization of the goal, regardless of the outcome, because you've shown that you really have what it takes to give your best to something. And then the third kind of success is facing something that genuinely terrifies you. If you have something in front of you that you're just so fucking afraid of, but you still try and try and try again, and you build the kind of person that you want to become, that is the most virtuous kind of success that you can achieve. So why do we need to write down our past successes? Because probably right now you're in a situation in which you're frustrated, you're tired, you don't like your life, you probably have some self-loathing and you don't think that you're capable of doing that. Or even if you do, you still have some self-doubt. I want you to realize that you have way more power and way more agency than you think you have. By writing down all of your past successes, all of the times in which you gave your best, you're gonna realize that you still have that thing in you. So pause the video, write down all the past successes you can think about, and when you're done, just go on with the steps. The second step is to define everything that is wrong with your life right now. This is going to be painful. You're gonna have the urge to distract yourself, maybe check Instagram, open an email, or watch another YouTube video, whatever that is. Stop the urge and focus on this step. The reason why we do this is because problems don't arise out of nowhere. In the beginning, problems are manageable, but as humans, we have the tendency to just ignore small problems. But there's a thing in life called entropy. Entropy is the tendency of chaos to arise in everything. It's basically a physics law, and it's something that applies again in everything. everything, but especially I do think it applies in the mind and in the way we handle our lives. And so if we let these problems spiral out of control, what happens is that then they just become major tragedies. Like, for example, you wake up one day, you look at your life and you ask yourself, whose life is this? And you fall into a crisis so deep that it feels like it's impossible to get out of it. The job that gave you security becomes a prison. The degree that everyone told you to get feels like a leash. And you look at your friends and they basically just waste their time, and you feel like you're obligated to do the same because otherwise you don't fit in. And so you have two options. You can either have everything come crashing down in a year, 2 years from now, knowing exactly what's your responsibility, or you can make a choice right now, look around you, notice the pain, notice everything that is wrong with your life, feel the pain, because the pain is also a motivator and it's very important to feel the pain, and use all of this to change your life. I want you to write down everything that is wrong with your life. What are the things you're doing you don't like? Are you at a job you don't like? Are you following a degree you don't like? Do you have friends you don't like because they're lazy and they don't motivate you? Are you not satisfied with yourself, with your behavior, with your habits? What does your typical day look like? How much time do you waste? I want you to go in detail as much as possible. And I want you to feel as much pain as possible, as much as you can tolerate, and even a little bit more. So pause the video, write these things, and then we're gonna go on to the next step. In the third step, I want you to think about what it is that you love doing. I want you to focus on something that you love and you would love doing for the rest of your life. Something that you would spend all of your time on and never feel tired. It could be skiing, it could be music, it could be philosophy, it could be trading, it could be AI, it could be coding, literally anything that you love. It could be gaming. As long as it's something that you like to have more and more in your life, write it down. Now I want you to write why you love that thing. What is it that you love so much about it, and how does it make you feel when you do it? Describe in detail the joy, the freedom that it gives you, and also the challenge. How challenged do you feel positively, of course, to the point where you feel like you want to grow and you just love that challenge. Write all of this down, and once you're done, I want you to write all the skills that you have around this subject. It's very easy to forget about certain skills just because we take them for granted. Make the list as long as you possibly can. Now we're gonna go through the fourth step. And for this step, I want you to close your eyes and imagine a different world. I want you to imagine yourself and your life 3 years from now. But I want you to detach the imagination that you're going through right now from the life that you have right now. Go into completely creative mode. Like you're basically the creator and you can choose anything and everything that you want in that life. And now imagine that you have your own personal brand, that you are a widely recognized specialist in your field. People know you because you're the best at what you do. In your personal brand, you post content that teaches people new ideas, new perspectives, and new ways in which people can do what you do. All of these people, they thank you for the inspiration that you give them and for the help that you've given them. Also imagine if you spent these last 3 years really honing your craft and really becoming the best. You know everything about the subject inside out, and you really know what makes greatness possible. You studied from as many sources as you could. You created your own unique approach to the field, and people just want to be like you. Your life is completely built around your passion. You wake up every single morning knowing that you're going to be immersed in what you love, but especially that you're free. You're free to do what you want. You're free to live the life that you've always wanted to live. Now open your eyes, and I want you to write down everything you've just experienced. Describe what it looked like. What did you know in terms of knowledge, and what could you do in terms of skills? What advice did people ask for? How is your life structured now that you do what you love for a living? Did you work with some other personal brands that you admire in the past, people that you looked up to and then now refer to you as a colleague and maybe even as a friend? You can see now how all the steps are coming in together. The reason why I made you describe your successes is because now I want you to use that power to understand that what you're imagining right now is possible. If you really dedicate 100% of yourself towards achieving that goal, what is stopping you from getting there? You also know now exactly what is wrong with your life and that you need to fix to get to that point. And all of this leads us to the fifth step. Think of somebody who has not begun in the field that you love. So somebody who's a complete beginner, they know that they would love to get into that specific topic, but they have no idea how to do so. Now that you thought about that person, I want you to think about 3 specific topics that could be useful for this person. I want you to write 3 essays around these topics. They could be as long as you think they need to be. If you want to make them 5,000 words, make them 5,000. If you want to make them 500, 100, make them 100. Now take these essays and turn them into a piece of content. If it's a short essay, make that into an Instagram video or a TikTok video. If it's a longer essay, make a YouTube video. Literally do not mind about the lighting, the camera, just pick your phone, put your phone somewhere and record yourself speaking to the camera. That's it. I don't want you to worry about anything else. This is a way for you to get out of your comfort zone and to take the first step toward the life that you want. I'm just gonna give you a personal example just to make you understand how important this is. I love cars. I've always loved cars in my life, but I've never managed to get into cars. Understanding how engines work and transmission and suspensions and all that stuff to me is way too complicated. And I've tried to learn about it. It's just like, it's too much. I'd really love if somebody could guide me through the process of understanding how a car works. Imagine you loved cars and you knew a bunch of stuff, not even everything. You knew a bunch of stuff, like the beginner knowledge about a car. And imagine you made a piece of content where you explain in 60 seconds the basics of a car. I'd love that piece of content. I'd start following you. I'd like every post. And if you then one day sold a course or a community, I'd buy it because I know that thing matters so much to me that I'm willing to spend money to have somebody solve this problem of mine. Imagine how many problems you can solve and you don't know it right now. Imagine how many people would love to have the knowledge and the skills that you have, but they don't. And if you just started your personal brand, if you just started to explain the skills, explain the knowledge in a simple manner, in a few years from now, being consistent, of course, you probably achieve the life that you actually want. So I challenge you to post these 3 pieces of content. And if you do, I hope you do. So let's say when you do, post them on Instagram, even if it's just like a short snippet if you do a YouTube video, and tag me and New Way Society in the post so that we can interact with the post and know that you've taken the first step. I literally made this video thinking about the version of me of 2019 who had this passion for music and had no idea that he could build a business around it, and then did. But it took me way longer because I didn't have the information that I needed. So I really hope this video gives you the motivation and the information that you need to achieve that result much faster. And if you want to learn more about the process and how to build your personal brand and build a business around your passion, then just subscribe to the channel. All right, see you in the next one.